This is a short lesson, your first lesson, part of a series on thesis statements that will hopefully help you write a stronger essay. So step 1, parts of the thesis statement. The thesis statement is undoubtedly the most important sentence of your entire essay. It serves as the blueprint or roadmap for your essay, so it is crucial that your thesis statement is clear and logical before beginning the body of the essay. A fully developed thesis statement has 2 basic parts. These parts can span across 1 to 2 sentences, but the thesis statement must have these 2 parts in order to construct a clear outline for the direction of the essay. As a rule, the thesis should always appear as the last part of the introduction paragraph to establish the essay's purpose for the reader. That last part is important. I should find the thesis as in the last sentence of your introduction paragraph. So the 2 parts of your thesis. The first part is the claim. This is the part of the thesis statement that contains your opinion, which for the literary analysis essay is your interpretation of the piece of literature. This interpretation should come in the form of a theme statement and should be universal. There's more to come on theme statements in the next video. An example claim would be love leads to loss, or ambition leads to corruption, or lack of enforcing laws leads to corrupt values. The second part of your thesis is the evidence. This is the part of the thesis statement in which you mention the specific pieces of evidence you will discuss to prove your claim. For the literary analysis essay, the evidence should include 2 to 3 literary elements or literary techniques, and that could include devices such as characterization, symbolism, allegories, writing style, use of metaphor, diction, imagery, conflict, etc. It is important that the evidence listed in the order of the essay so that the thesis statement outlines the body paragraphs. So the order in which they are listed in your thesis statement is the order in which they are listed and described and explained in your body paragraphs. Okay? I've got some practice for you. I want you to read the following thesis statements, and for each one, underline the claim and circle the evidence. So I will read each one and then give you the answer right after that. Number 1, ambition without morals leads to destruction, as shown through the characters of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth in Shakespeare's play, The Tragedy of Macbeth. In this one, this is a very clear-cut thesis, but it is strong. So our theme, or our claim, is that ambition without morals leads to destruction. And the evidence is the characters of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Okay. Second sentence. Judging someone based upon appearances leads to false accusations as shown by comparing and contrasting how Beowulf reacts to the monster Grendel in the epic poem Beowulf and John Gardner's novel Grendel. So our theme statement or our claim, judging someone based upon appearances leads to false accusations. Okay. And then our evidence, the points we're going to use to prove that theme statement, is how Beowulf reacts to the monster Grendel in Beowulf, and how, in the epic poem Beowulf, and how Beowulf reacts to Grendel in John Gardner's novel, Grendel. So using the same character, but in 2 different texts. Number 3, in William Golding's novel, Lord of the Flies, the symbol of the conch shell and the allegorical characters of Ralph and Jack depict how democratic ideals cannot function without enforcement of those ideals. I like this thesis. I like this thesis statement because it's flipped, but it still does the exact same thing that the first 2 have done, right? It has a theme statement or claim, right? Except it comes in the second half of the sentence. Democratic ideals cannot function without enforcement of those ideals. And our evidence is that we have this seen through the symbol of the conch shell and the characters of Ralph and Jack. So your thesis statement is going to have 3 pieces of evidence. All of these only have 2, but these are good models for you to follow. Number 4, Ayn Rand's writing typically focuses on the necessity for identity as a fulfillment of life's purpose, and her novella Anthem proves this concept through the symbol of equality's secret diary and his internal dialogue. So again, very formulaic, right? We have our theme statement, otherwise known as our claim, and then we have our evidence, seen in Anthem, the symbol of equality, and the internal dialogue. So 2 different aspects of the novella used to prove this main point. Number 5, Tennyson's poem Ulysses reveals the theme that settling for a quiet, unadventurous life does not lead to fulfillment, as shown through the narrator's tone and use of metaphor. This one is very simple, even simpler, I think, than the number 1, because it even identifies here, oh, okay, I know we're talking about a theme first, and then we've got our evidence. So the theme statements, our claim, settling for a quiet, unadventurous life does not lead to fulfillment. And we've got the tone and use of metaphor as our evidence. I want you guys also to note, you probably already did, that most thesis statements in this have got as shown. We've got proves this concept through, and we've got as shown here, depict. Okay, we've got some key words in there that identify that shift in the sentence. Okay, so you've got your claim, you've got your evidence, you have that linking word, that shift word that shows the change in focus in that sentence. Okay, good structure for those to follow. Now I've got an activity for you guys to do. Pretty simple. I want you to combine the theme statements below. There are 5 of them, and create sample thesis statements. So the first one, claim living in society leads to inevitable corruption, and the evidence, the symbol of Soma in Aldous Huxley's Brave New World and the character Bernard Marx. Combine those 2 somehow into a thesis, and do that for the other 4 sentences as well. Okay, don't worry about this homework. You can skip that piece. I just want you to practice. Now, as you're going through this practice today, what I want you to do is send me a chat with your responses, so that I can very, very quickly take a look at your thesis statements and how you are creating them, so that I know you know, so that I know that you know what you're doing. Okay, so please send me that chat once you have finished this activity, so I can give you some very quick feedback so that you are on the right path. Thank you.